Now at 5, a look tonight at help for Hoosiers who've been without power for nearly 2 weeks.
In Gary, thousands are still waiting for the lights to come back on after severe storms hit northwest Indiana. Today, a community relief event brought food, supplies, and much needed support to those families. Thanks for joining us tonight at 5. I'm Dustin Grove in for Anne Marie.
And I'm Felicia Lawrence. 13 News State House reporter Emily Longnecker is in Gary at the park where there's been help for all these Hoosiers all day.
Yeah, we'll take a look. Thousands have been coming through here. This is Roosevelt's Pavilion on Gary's west side. Thousands have been coming through here to pick up relief kits that mostly include cleaning supplies that folks can use during the recovery. Local food trucks have also been here giving out free meals. Many of these folks lost food and an ability to cook it without power for nearly 2 weeks. Today's event really came together after some well-known people across the country took notice of what was happening in Gary. Thousands of people living without power almost 2 weeks after catastrophic storms came through northwest Indiana. Among those big names drawing attention to the need for support, Indiana Pacers guard Tyrese Halliburton made a donation. Food critic and media personality Keith Lee was on site Monday, lending his voice to the effort.
I don't take no credit for what it is that we're doing today. It's the Salvation Army, it's God, it's the people who on social media who were advocating for themselves, advocating for the city of Gary, and banding together as a unit, even in the midst of darkness. People who were telling their story and not being afraid.
And while thousands remain without power at this hour, the story here today in Gary is one of community helping each other. Residents say they're thankful for what's become a national spotlight on the situation here. And coming up tonight at 6, we'll tell you what Gary residents are saying about Governor Braun's calls for NIPSCO to be investigated. In Gary, Emily Longnecker, 13 News.
All right, Emily, thank you. We'll hear more from you in a little bit. And also about 38,000 customers in Gary were without power after the storms. Now, last check, that number had dropped to around 8,000 customers.
All right, so 2 weeks since those storms up in northwest Indiana, nearly 2 weeks since severe storms caused massive flooding across central Indiana.
Now, in the last 2 hours, we have an update on the recovery in Hamilton County. That's where we find Logan Gay live tonight. Logan?
Hey Felicia, hey Dustin. Well, we now have a clear timeline on what's next for the Hazeldale Bridge. We now know that county leaders say the bridge is a complete loss. You can see the devastation that we have taken, the video that we have taken over time right now. So the design phase for a replacement is expected to take about 60 days. Officials are hoping to have a contractor under contract by Thanksgiving. From there, construction will take up the rest of 2026 and most of 2027. The goal is to get the new bridge finished sometime next year and keep the project from stretching onto 2028. Now, the county is also working on the designations for additional federal disaster declarations.
We got a potential bit of good news on the bridge. Apparently Federal Highway does have an emergency fund for infrastructure replacement, and we may be able to qualify, again, this is potential, for what we call 80-20 money. And that would mean that we as a county would contribute 20% of the cost, and the federal government would contribute 80%. Again, that's a potential.
And county leaders also mentioned that the recreational ban on the White River is still in place. They actually renewed that today. It's in place for another 7 days. They're asking everyone to stay out of the water because they say it's unsafe and full of debris. Felicia, Dustin, back to you.
All right, glad to know we have a timeline now on that Hazeldale Parkway Bridge.
Yeah, good to know. Logan Gay reporting live in Noblesville. Thank you. And Hamilton County is now beginning to collect flood debris left on the curb. So if you live there and debris has not been picked up in your area yet, you will want to separate it by type.
And make sure it doesn't block the road or any of the fire hydrants. The curbside collection is happening now through Thursday. If you think they've missed a pickup, go ahead and call county officials and let them know. If you or somebody you know lives in Carmel and still needs help following the floods, then listen up.
The city is hosting a flood recovery open house tomorrow night. You can head to Northview Church anytime between 5:30 and 7:30 p.m. to see what kind of help is available.
And while we're still waiting to hear an update from FEMA, there is some money already going to people in Anderson impacted by the flooding. The mayor just announced a city-funded general emergency assistance program.
So Ella Rhodes spent the day in Anderson. Ella, can you share with us who can apply to get money from the fund and how much are we talking?
So, Dustin and Felicia, you have to live in one of the 600 homes the city designated. So you can actually take a look here at this map that we've set out for you guys. And obviously you can see that this is still in one of the trailer dumps that people are putting their stuff in. But we're actually right about here on 2nd and Henry. And this whole row of houses here can apply for that funding. Each home can get up to $1,000. Again, you have to be a part of the designated homes that the city decided that could be a part of it, and they were in that flood map. But you could take a look at the video on your screen from earlier where Mayor Thomas Broderick Jr. announced that fund. So in total, it's $600,000 that people can use how they see fit. Mayor Broderick said there were no deaths or serious injuries during the flood. The river did crest at 24.9 feet, with many streets underwater, and people losing nearly everything. Now, the mayor added that the city used the flood plan from 2017. Several residents showed up to the announcement earlier and expressed frustration with how the city handled this emergency. Stephanie Senes said she feels like the city poorly communicated with its residents about the flood.
Our community is hurting. We are looking for answers. We are looking for accountability and transparency, and we have felt ignored the last 13 days of this flood.
The city estimates there were about $28 million in damages in Anderson, and you could start to apply for this funding hopefully as early as Thursday. Again, you have to be in one of the 600 designated homes. You can see some of them on that map there. That's on your screen we're showing you. And this is inside one of the dumpsters, actually. There's 70 dumpsters here throughout Anderson that the city put out to help people cleaning up through this process. And again, you could start to apply for that fund as early as Thursday, and they said that they would get to the money to people within the next 5 days. Dustin and Felicia.
All right, Ella Rhodes reporting live for us tonight from Anderson. Thank you.
Also, people impacted by the flooding in Marion County have another chance to get a free tetanus shot tonight.
The health department's holding a tetanus vaccine clinic. It's going on right now at Riverwood Park. Although you've only got about another hour to get there. It's supposed to end at 6.
And we, of course, have made it easy for you to check out what help is available in your area following this flooding. I know it can be a lot to really wrap your head around, and you're like, where do I start? Well, you can start by checking out our website. We keep it updated on WTHR.com/flooding.
Lots of links there to help. Good thing this weekend was dry. It was beautiful. Gave us a chance to continue to dry out and clean up, Angela, and it continued today.
It did, and we have one rain chance in the 7-day, and that's Wednesday this week, and that is some much needed good news from the weather department on this Monday evening. It is going to be a mild Monday evening. Most of us are in the 70s right now under mainly sunny skies. You can see that as we take you all across central Indiana. Over Morris Reservoir, we have more sunshine on this Monday early evening. Sunny skies at this hour and temperatures that will stay in the 70s. Right now this is a view from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway back to downtown. In downtown, we have 77, Muncie at 75, Bloomington 76, and Richmond currently 73 degrees. The next several hours, we're going to stay in the 70s through sunset. Late evening temperatures drop into the 60s, and most of us will be back into the 50s early tomorrow morning. A mild morning, patchy fog can't be ruled out, but nothing weather-wise really to slow you down. Morning temperatures in the 50s. From there, 76 early afternoon, and highs tomorrow near 80.
Thanks, Angela. And to the courtroom now. That's where an Indianapolis mother is on trial again.
Here we go again. Tony McClure charged with murder in the death of 5-year-old Kinsley Welty. Welty died back in April of 2024 from severe malnutrition.
Well, a judge declared a mistrial earlier this summer after a juror and a witness allegedly spoke outside of the courtroom. Ashton Hackman was in court for opening statements.
Both sides warned the jury that the evidence in this case is difficult to listen to and difficult to look at. The prosecution says that Tony McClure murdered her daughter, while her attorneys say this was abuse not murder.
Kinsley Welty was 5 years old and weighed just 21 pounds when she died. Detectives say she was covered in feces. Lice were crawling on her face and in her hair. Prosecutors say in the final months of her life, Kinsley was locked inside a closet, deprived of food and water. She was found unresponsive inside her family's Southwest Side trailer in April 2024. Kinsley was taken to Riley Hospital, where she died.
Kinsley Welty was tortured to death. She died in the most prolonged, scary, horrific, lonely way.
Prosecutors say McClure knew her daughter was losing weight and treated her differently than her other children. Her attorneys are not denying Kinsley was neglected, but they argue prosecutors can't prove McClure intended to kill her.
Toni McClure is not an intentional murderer. She is, though, a terrible mother.
The defense also argued McClure was not the only adult who failed Kinsley. McClure's boyfriend Ryan Smith and McClure's mother Tammy Halsley were also charged in Kinsley's death. Both pleaded guilty to neglect resulting in death and are expected to testify against McClure.
If convicted of murder, Toni McClure faces life without the possibility of parole. In Indianapolis, Ashton Hackman, 13 News.
So that trial is expected to last 10 days. Ryan Smith and Tammy Halsey both face 20 years in prison if their plea agreements are accepted.
Tonight, we've learned a teenager will spend more than 50 years in prison after a jury found him guilty of rape on a school bus. Landon Doty was 15 at the time of the crime in Jennings County last year. The jury found him guilty. They convicted him on 11 charges, including rape and sexual assault of a nonverbal 7-year-old boy with autism. A judge sentenced Doty today to a total of 50 years and 6 months behind bars, followed by 3.5 years of probation.
An update tonight on the death of a man in Boone County. The suspect in the case has now pled guilty to the murder. Lebanon police found the body of 64-year-old Donald Bowers at a house on Southwest Street last September. Officers then arrested 37-year-old Jacob Cram. He faces up to 45 to 65 years at his sentencing, which is set for next month.